and welcome to Ingrid's Kitchen. Today I will be teaching you about the basic ways to cook eggs. Today we will be doing a poached egg, a soft-boiled egg, a hard-boiled egg, a scrambled egg, and a fried egg. And I will be walking you step by step through how to get the desired egg that you want and how to plate them. So to begin with, I have a pot of boiling water behind me, or it's beginning to boil, and we're going to start with the soft boiled and the hard boiled egg. So we're going to take 2 eggs, and when the water is boiling, I'm going to place them gently with a spoon, like so, gently down into the water in the pot. For a soft boiled egg, it will sit in the water for 6 minutes and you will get a firm white with a runny yolk. For a hard boiled egg, depending on the consistency of the yolk you want, if you want it to still be a little bit gelish, like coagulated, you will let it sit in the boiling water for 10 minutes. Whereas if you want it to be a little bit more powdery and like soft, you will let it sit for up to 12 minutes, no longer, because then it will get overcooked. And the way that you can tell an overcooked egg is because there is a green sort of ring around the yolk. So if you see that, that means your egg is overcooked. It's still safe to eat, it just means that it's overcooked and so it doesn't look as appealing. So I will go and place these in the boiling water and I will come back to you when they're ready. So now I have my soft-boiled egg and my hard-boiled egg ready. So for a soft-boiled egg, I'm presenting it as what we call dippy eggs, as the yolk is runny and so you can dip fingers of toast into the egg. So we'll just crack it open like that, and then you can scoop off of the top and scoop out some of the white, and there you will see a nice runny yolk. And that is a soft-boiled egg. This is my hard-boiled egg, and I did this for 10 minutes, so you can see it's still a little bit, colored and a little bit more jelly, whereas you can see that it was getting to the point where the whole thing was going to be that very powdery yolk, and that's what would happen to the whole yolk if you did it for 12 minutes. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to prepare our scrambled eggs. Now in a bowl of whatever size you may choose, we're going to crack 2 eggs. Using a fork or a whisk, we're going to break the yolks, like so, and whisk them all together. Now this is the base for a scrambled egg. Some people, if they want a creamier egg or slightly more egg, you can add a bit of milk, or you can add a little bit of water if you would like to reduce dairy. The other thing you can do is, if you would like a Spanish scrambled egg, you can add some heavy cream, and when it cooks in the pan, it kind of curdles a little bit, and you serve it with spicy chorizo sausage and potatoes and things like that, and that is what is called a Spanish scramble. But for today I'm just going to leave my egg base And I'm going to add some salt and some pepper. And then give that another little mix. And then when your pan is heated up, you're going to put a teaspoon of butter, small scoop of butter, to cover the bottom of your pan, and it will melt. And then we will pour the egg over the pan, and I'll come back to you when I'm doing that. We are now over at the stove where we are going to scramble our eggs. So we're going to turn this stovetop element onto a medium high temperature. And we're going to put a little bit of butter into the pan. Okay, our pan has heated up now, so we're going to give it one last little mix, and we're going to pour it into the pan. We're just going to let it sit for a little bit so that the heat starts to get through the eggs before we start to mix it. When we mix the eggs, you want to sort of drag along the bottom of the pan to pick up any eggs that become cooked and start to dry to the pan. Dry and get like stuck to the pan, so then you just sort of are scooping them. You can see I'm already starting to get some little bits of egg that are cooking. This is also similar to how you make omelets. With an omelet, you pretty much do the same thing, and then you let it cook and stir up some of these cooked bits. And then once it is mostly full of cooked bits, you would let it sit and fully cook, and then put in your fillings, and then you can roll it up or serve it as one big omelette. When your scrambled eggs start to form a nice big pile like this, that's pretty much when they are almost ready. Some people like them to still look a little bit wet, other people prefer them to be drier. So cook until they are the consistency of your liking, and then you can serve them on toast with bacon or just by themselves. Here is an example of the scrambled eggs and bacon plating. It can also be served on toast. Now we are going to do a poached egg. Poaching an egg is considered one of the harder things to do in hospitality, but if you know how to get all of the basics to it right, you should be very successful. So first, I have a ramekin, and I'm going to crack my egg and just let it sit in the ramekin like so. and we are leaving the yolk unbroken. So it's just a whole egg in here. Now in our pot, we're going to add some white vinegar, just enough so that when we dip our finger into the warm water, we can taste that there's just a slight hint of vinegar. And we're going to set the water onto a light simmer. So that means we will see small bubbles coming up from the bottom, but not a rolling boil. So now I'm at my pot, and it has a very light bubbling at the bottom of the pot and some steam. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a slotted spoon, and we are going to begin to stir the water to create a whirlpool in the center and have our egg at the ready. So we're going to spin the water getting a little bit faster so that we have a whirlpool in the center. And pouring our egg straight down into the center of the pot. The egg will start to curl over itself, and the egg white will begin to curl over itself. And once the egg is ready, it will begin to float to the top of the water. So the egg white will already be floating, but you just want to keep an eye on the yolk that's in the pot, as it will eventually come up to the top. A poached egg, if you would like it runny, which is the way that it is usually served at restaurants, should only take a couple, like 2 to 3 minutes, not even. Whereas if you are somebody who doesn't really like a runny egg and you would prefer a slightly thicker egg, you can leave it in for the water a little bit longer, and you can see the yolk starting to get quite opaque, and it sort of whites over. So now my egg is floating, so I'm just going to pick it up and I'm going to give it a check. So here's my poached egg. You're just going to give it a check to see if all of the white is cooked. So if there are some bits of white that still look kind of like water, you're just going to slowly let your poached egg go back in for a couple more seconds. I'm going to take it out again, double checking, and this looks good. So I've just put it back in now, because when you take it out, you want to have a paper towel at the ready to put it on to dry off all of that extra water and moisture that you don't need on your egg. So I'm just going to take it out again and put it over to the side. So this is how I have served my poached egg. I have got an English muffin with some parsley. Traditionally, you will also put hollandaise sauce over the top and then parsley. However, I don't actually have that with me right now. Last but not least, we are going to do a fried egg. So right now I just have a little bit of oil in a pan that I am currently heating up. I'm just using it to grease over the pan. I know it looks like a lot, but it's probably only about like a tablespoon of oil. This is just a little pan. And then we're going to crack our egg into the hot oil. I'm just going to let it sit in the hot oil while the white cooks. And now if you would like to have a runny egg, you can just leave it this way. But if you would prefer to have a not so runny egg, we can flip it, and then both sides will get cooked. And sometimes the egg can still, like the yolk can still be a little bit runny, but it's up to you. So I just flipped it, and by doing this, the yolk can still be runny, but if you absolutely don't like runny yolks, before you flip it, you can stab the yolk with the knife or the spatula or whatever, so that the yolk starts to run throughout the white, and that just helps the yolk stay cooked and not get runny. And now this is basically done, and you can serve it on toast or in a bagel, in a burger, however you want to eat your fried eggs. Here is my fried egg, and I have served it with some barbecue sauce and some parsley on toast. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.